Hello, it's Isaiah Colbert, the otaku of Kotaku, and today I'm over at Galloping Ghost in Chicago, and I'm here with its owner, Doc Mac. First things first, for a lot of the people who aren't from Chicago, who might be East Coasters or West Coasters, can you explain to us what Galloping Ghost is and like where the name came from?
The Galloping Ghost Arcade opened up back in 2010. We started with about 130 arcade machines, and it was a free play arcade. We've grown now. We're over 918 games. We had a new game every week. We haven't missed a week in over 8 years. The name Galloping Ghost actually originally came from our production company, Galloping Ghost Productions, which we opened up back in 1984. And we're currently working on a new arcade game called Dark Presence, which is a one-on-one fighting game that uses live digitized actors.
When I walked the place, maybe it took me like 7 minutes to walk every hall of the arcade. I'm pretty sure I missed a bunch already, but I was wondering, how do you procure the different arcades that you guys get here?
So we get games literally from all over the world. There's some super collectors out there that have one-of-a-kind games. Also, we know a lot of the industry people out there, so it being near Chicago, so many of the games were made right here. We're constantly bringing in games from Japan and out of the country and sourcing even just the original arcade boards and building up cabinets to put them in so everybody can come and play them. Like, we'll see 700 people show up on a Saturday. So everything's getting played. So we're constantly checking to make sure all the joysticks and buttons are working, constantly doing work on monitors to make sure that the picture is looking great, because you want to walk up, if so many people travel in from out of state and out of the country, and it's probably a lot of these machines the only chance that they'll ever get to play them again. So we want to make sure that it's how it was when these games came out, and fun to play and everything's working. So it's a non-stop effort, and there's always stuff to fix, and we're working on everything 7 days a week.
And you mentioned some of the like rare games that are here. I wanted to ask you, what's your go-to arcade cabinet that's here at Galloping Ghost?
My personal favorite is Narc. That was the first arcade game I ever bought, which came out from Williams back in 1988. We had this big event here where we invited everybody that worked on the game, artists and sound people and the programmers, to come out and tell all the stories about the game. And the night before the event, George Petro, who's a programmer on the game, asked, he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, do you have a spare Narc board?" Not thinking anything about it, I was like, yeah, I'll drop it off. Dropped it off to him. Next day, the big event, and I'm getting to meet like the actual actors from the games, and just a mind-blowing personal experience for me, let alone everybody else that's enjoying the whole thing. But George Petro came in and he's like, "Here's your board back." And he started telling me the story about how about 2 weeks before the game launched, they were working on a bonus level where you're flying this helicopter and you've got unlimited rockets and bombs and you're just blowing everything up. And it was causing problems with the game. It crashed when they put it out on test location. So he was like, we pulled it and we scrapped the idea for it. The game was so close, we didn't have time to finish it. He's like, "I finished coding the level for you. I fixed the bug. Here's your board back, the one of a kind, the only one that exists with this unfinished level that's now in it for everybody to come play here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade."
A Chicago exclusive. So one thing I noticed when I came into Galloping Ghost is that I noticed that there was a bunch of framed photos of a lot of the people that come into Galloping Ghost, and each arcade cabinet has different sort of like cue cards above them. Can you sort of explain what those are, and especially what that championship belt was that's over at the top of the store?
So the QR codes are basically, we were working on an app for the arcade that basically you could scan in on each cabinet. You could report any issue with a game, but also get the entire history of the game, like where we got the cabinet, where we got the board, the maintenance that's been done to it, if there's been any events run around that game. And again, with 918 games and that number always going up, we're still working on the site and the app. So it's something that we'll get to, but it's definitely a lot of effort to do anything with this many games. The championship belt that you saw at the front counter, that's our hardcore championship. And we have several like wrestling style belts that are run throughout the arcade. There's our Gamer of the Year belt. There's our 10X Championship belt. And our hardcore belt is a constant running tournament. So whenever the hardcore champion is here, anybody can come up and challenge him for the hardcore title. And we pick a game completely at random, so there's no advantage for anybody. And whoever gets the highest score, they walk away as a champion. And if you're the champ, you get free access to the arcade, so your entry fee is waived. You get drinks and anything. It's all comp. So there's definitely a lot of value to be the champion. But it's definitely a tough title to hold on to, and we've seen it on Saturday. We've had close to 60 hardcore championship defenses in a day. So you'll see people, as soon as somebody wins it, the next person is standing right there to challenge them.
For those who are coming in from out of state who would like to try their hand at some of the arcades here and don't happen to be the champion, what is kind of the rule of thumb for getting in? Do you have to pay for a quarter for each arcade that happens to be here, or what's the sort of formality for that?
So it's a flat $25 per person entry fee, and then everything is set on free play. So we're open Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. till midnight, and then Friday and Saturday we're open 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. So you can play all day. So you can just get 15 hours of game playing in. You can leave, get lunch, come back, just show your receipt. There's no re-entry fee or anything, especially for games like classics like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Simpsons or Terminator 2. Those games used to cost about that much to even finish those games. So we really try to make it a great value.
Thank you very much for meeting with me, Mac. And if you guys ever happen to fly by through West Coast or the East Coast, be sure to land here in Chicago and try to challenge for the championship belt over at Galloping Ghost.